We're here in Arlington, Texas to bring you all things Vinnie Paul and Dimebag Darrell, members of Pantera. Here on the corner of Monterey Street and Westover Drive at the childhood home of Dimebag and Vinnie Paul, which is the house you see right here in front of you. Now, even though they were born in other locations in Texas, they would still call Arlington their home. So here's the front yard, front of the house. Now there is video footage of them running around this yard.
Hey, Larry. Oh, dude, I'm gonna be finding my whole new car tomorrow. Fucking wait. Get a good shot, Wicked. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, stop the insanity. Check this out. This is a cheap high right here. Check it out. Cheap high, you know. Try to blow it up, make it look like it's something going down. Ah, there's normal, and here's jacked up.
There's even a photo of Dimebag and Rita in front of this mailbox here, back when they were teenagers, when they first started dating. Now the guys would live here with their mother, Carolyn, growing up. She was very supportive of their music and what they wanted to do with their life. And this house would actually be owned by the family up until Vinnie's passing in 2018. So it's crazy to think that you're right here on the street, walking down the same street that Dimebag and Vinnie would have walked growing up, here in front of this house, just over my shoulder, playing in the yard, raising all kind of hell and ruckus, and that, you know, they would grow up to be known for as members of Pantera and Damage Plan, and then later on Vinnie with Hell Yeah. So just surreal, just right here in the middle of the street. There's no sidewalk, but we're in the middle of the street in front of Dimebag and Vinnie's childhood home. Never thought I'd be here. Mind blown twice. Not once, but 2 mind blowns. Over. Done. So in the picture of Dimebag Darrell and Rita that's taken over here in front of this mailbox, it's taken at an angle. It's not actually showing their house, but in the picture you can see this house in the background here with these windows. So we're standing here across the street of Arlington High School, which we are assuming is the correct high school. We don't know if this is a new one or if it's the same one that's been remodeled from Vinnie and Dimebag's days, but this is where the boys would have attended school. And I say boys like I'm older than them or something. But they would have attended here when they actually bothered showing up to school.
They were hoodlums. You gotta stick to it.
Exactly. So Vinnie would actually learn to and fall in love with playing the drums at a young age after hearing Kiss's 1975 Alive album. That's what kind of got him hooked on drums. It got him hooked on Kiss. But then at the age of 17, here at Arlington High School, he would start forming the band Pantera, where he would invite his younger brother Darrell, who would later become Dimebag Darrell, to come and play guitar in the band.
And thus, history was made.
Yes. Rock and roll.
The building behind me that says New West, this used to be the Agora Ballroom back in the day. Now, what makes this significant to Pantera and Dimebag Darrell is that at 15 years old, Dimebag Darrell would compete in a guitar competition here. Now, he would blow the judges away. Needless to say, homeboy won. He actually won his first Dean guitar here, and one of the judges for the competition was the founder of the Dean guitar. Now, this would become his signature guitar. Now, he went on to compete 2 more years, winning both those times 2 and winning 2 other guitars. So he won a total of 3 during the course of his competition here.
Not too shabby.
Well, eventually they're like, yo, you need to quit competing. You're too good. Like, we need to give other people a chance. You're going to get all of our guitars here. So, alas, he couldn't really compete anymore.
Bah. What a bunch of crybabies. I mean, I can see their point, but nothing wrong with being second fiddle to Dimebag Darrell. I mean, come on.
No.
We've touched on a little bit on Dimebag's talents, right? So let's touch a little bit on Mr. Vinnie Paul. So back, Vinnie was coming up playing the drums and into Pantera and everything. He used to take coins and put it on his kick drum, the head of his kick drum, right where the hammer would strike the head of the kick drum. And this made like this clicking, popping noise every time it would hit the bass drum. So as he's playing, you get the bass from the bass drum, but you almost get like this kind of sound coming from it, which became a staple for heavy metal music, to where it kind of became synonymous. Like when you heard heavy metal, you expected to hear the kick drum making those clicking and knocking noises, and that was created by Mr. Vinnie Paul. This that you are seeing in front of you is what used to be Pantego Sound. And this recording studio was owned by Darrell and Vinnie's father, Jerry Abbott. Now, Jerry was a country music performer and producer. So it was here that the guys would learn how to record music and all the recording and production that someone would go through forming a band and recording albums. And they would record all of their earlier stuff here up until they got signed by a major record label. And this place would eventually close down in 1996, and it's still under surveillance. So we're standing in the middle of the street just kind of shooting it, because past that right there is considered private property. So it's amazing that this building is still standing, that it hasn't been turned into anything else that I know of. I mean, it's still closed, that it hasn't been demolished or anything. Like, you know, usually when places like this that have a history as a recording studio or anything from back in the day, eventually if it doesn't get bought and upkept or turned into something else, they just destroy it. A lot like they did the
Leonard Skinner
Hill House. So it's good to see that Darrell and Vinnie's father's studio, where they learned to do all their recording and production early in life. It's good to see that it's still standing, and it's good to see that somebody's taking care of it and putting cameras on each corner so that it does, you know, deter people from vandalizing it and forcing it to have to be destroyed. Whether you're a Pantera fan or Damaged Plan fan or a Hell Yeah fan, if you're just a fan of music in general, a fan of Dimebag or Vinnie in general, being here and seeing this in person, knowing this is where they spent their early years recording and learning from their father, that's pretty freaking awesome.
It's where the magic started.
It's where if it had not been for their father in this building in his recording studio, the guys would have never learned to record, would never learn to produce, never learned that side of the business. You know, they were already good. They were already great at the performing side, the front stage, but learning the backstage, learning the offstage stuff here, that's pretty freaking cool.
The building you're looking at now, Dorsey's House Adult Day Center. Well, back in 1977, this was Savvy's. This was like a nightclub where a house band would perform. They offered nightly entertainment. They also had dance contests with prizes, 25-cent beer. If you were a lady and you didn't have a man, you got in here for free. So this was
unescorted.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You could have a man, he just couldn't be escorted.
Yeah, you had to have him come in separately. You had to play it smart. You'd be like, look, boo, you need to come in after me if I can get in free. Anyway, the reason that we're showing you where Savvy's used to be is because this is where Pantera performed some. Like, they would put on shows here.
I bet this was a rocking place back in the day, son. Here in front of what was Dimebag Darrell's house as he got older and up until his death. It's a very modest house. You know, most rock and roll gods have big, elaborate, you know, fancy mansions, you know, all over the place, all over the world. And Dimebag was, you know, like, give me a good sized house that I can party at and hang, and this is what you got. Now, it is privately owned, so we're standing back because there's a sign right here that says, please respect our privacy, don't ring the doorbell unless you got authorized business, such as FedEx or whatever. But you can't see it, but on the other side of this black vehicle, it still stands the statue, cast iron statue of Dimebag with his guitar. Now, Dimebag was known in the band, both him and his brother, for being very humble. But Dimebag also, he loved to party, okay? He wasn't one to really let there be a lull in the party. He wasn't one to really let things die down. If it did, if there was going to be a lull in the conversation, a lull in the party, he started shooting bottle rockets at you. He'd do anything he could, kind of like a court gesture, to get the party back bumping, to get things to come alive, and not really stay dead, you know what I'm saying? So, unlike his brother Vinnie, Vinnie was really laid back, Dimebag was really, let's do this, party 24/7, keep the party going, have a good time, and that's what he was known for.
Wake the boys up, they're sleeping. Come on! Bitch! Run! You look at snake!
He's out of there. Oh, you shot him. Hey, watch out! Damn it! Get out of the living room! You'll burn up something. Quit! Damn it! You're gonna hit me.
There's actually video footage of him out in the front of this house, like in a white truck, completely like terrorizing the driveway, just like burning rubber in this truck. Could you imagine being these people, like his neighbors? Like, what's Dimebag doing over there today?
Hey man, that's your driveway, man.
Hey, listen, man. Look, dude, the way you cut that thing was so fucking perfect, dude. You held it. You never came off the side of the curb. You kept it rolling. Kept it fucking smoking. Kept it squealing. Squealing is that's what we want everybody else to hear. So, hey, listen, man.
You look good, son.
Get you pull up this.
In other words. Look, there you go. Run, motherfucker. Look, there you go. Run, motherfucker. Ow! By God, that fucker's smoking.
Around, son. We're skulling up.
Dude, it's already pumped, so let's smoke it, dude. Let's cook it one more time. That is the shit right there. Oh, hell yeah! God damn! Bitch, it's up, bro! Hey, man! God damn! Woo! That's my boy! That's my boy! That's it! Hey! Feel the living! Jesus, there he goes!
Over here, so the property obviously is covered in these giant shrubs, but there are little holes. So when we were creeping by in the car, I thought I caught a glimpse of the cast iron statue that's still out there. And we're being total creepers. You can see it through there. And there's another spot in the shrubs you can see it through.
I don't think they're gonna be able to see it.
There's a spot right here. You can see it. Right through there.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it or not. See if we can. You can kind of see it right there.
There's plenty of photos online that you can find of whenever he lived here that was covered in rock and roll memorabilia. And he did kind of do like a design of Christmas lights, replicate his favorite Mexican restaurant that's here. So he definitely had his own wild, crazy style that went along with his personality.
The back of Dimebag's house was his recording studio. And this is where Pantera would record their albums. You see here in front of me, the top of this building, that's directly behind, right through here is Dimebag's house, and this building right here is in the back of the house, which was his recording studio. Back then there used to be a tour bus that actually sat back here behind the house at the studio, but they did Pantera and Dimebag and Vinnie did a lot of recording here. I don't know if they did all of their albums, but a lot of recording went on here. And I bet you it was a party every time they were recording.
We've made it to Campo Verde Mexican and American Cuisine Restaurant. This is less than a mile from Dimebag Darrell's house. Now, they say this was his favorite place to eat. Now, depending on the bartender that's working in here, you might can get the drink that became Pantera's official drink, which was created by Dimebag. So it's called the Black Tooth Grin. And the name of the drink comes from the lyrics of a Megadeth song called Sweating Bullets. Now,
and I bet you that is a strong, strong drink. I bet one and done.
The drink consists of 2 shots of Seagram 7, 2 shots of Crown Royal, and a dash of Coke.
Yeah, just a dash, not just a little. Phoop, phoop.
But like I was saying over at the house, how he had the Christmas lights inside, this is the restaurant I was referring to. There's Christmas lights in the inside, and that's where he got that decor. He liked this so much, he's like, I want to replicate that in my own house. I think there used to be some memorabilia on the walls in there. I don't think it's there anymore. We're not gonna go in and eat because we don't have time to do that. Not completely sure, so if you want to check it out for yourself, suggest coming here and grabbing something to eat. I've heard the food's really good. So obviously it was his favorite restaurant.
We're here at what is now known as the Aussie Rabbit. Now, back in the day, this used to be called the Tattoo Bar, which was co-owned by Dimebag Darrell here in Fort Worth, Texas. That's pretty sweet. I wish I could have been by here, whenever he co-owned it. So,
well, a lot of the things that I've read, like businesses they own, like it wasn't nothing for you to like go in whenever they weren't like working on their music, for you to like go in and like meet them and get a autograph or whatever.
Take a picture.
Because it said they were really down to earth, and they didn't mind giving their autograph to people.
So here's the front of it. It used to be open. It just recently closed within the past few days to a week. But this is where the Tattoo Bar once stood. Yeah, that would have been sweet to come here whenever it was the Tattoo Bar and go in there and actually meet Vinnie and Dimebag.
Yeah, because the thing with the autograph was, how some artists are like, no, I don't want to sign certain things because people will go off and sell it and make money off of it. But that is not how, they were at all. They were like, hey, if somebody can make $1 off something I signed, then let them have at it. Maybe I'm paying their rent for the month with this.
Yeah.
They were completely humble in that aspect. We made it to Hickory Valley Court. Now we're going to have to do a little bit of walking because there's a lot of construction going on this particular road. But we're here because this is where Vinnie Paul's house was. And I say was because it's no longer there.
Some moron bought it and tore it down.
We'll get into that later. Get a few minutes. So this house was a mansion that had five bathrooms, 4 bedrooms. It was basically built to be a party house. Now, this house had a wall that would rotate into a secret sex room. It had spaces for jacuzzis or hot tubs. It had a pool. It had a safe room. Needless to say, when there were parties held there were strippers galore, and the whiskey was aplenty. So, it wasn't uncommon for musicians, actors, probably famous athletes, because they did have a lot of sports parties here, to come through the area, play shows, or spend a long time at their particular bars they owned and come here and crash at Vinnie's house.
I bet it's the sex room. I bet that's why they tore it down.
Probably. In 2022, Vinnie's house went on the market. Now, it was only on the market for a few days.
Of course.
And somebody snapped it up. You would think it would be like a mega fan. I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I had to walk uphill.
It's a steep freaking hill.
You would think it would have been a mega fan to purchase this house. But I guess not, because whoever purchased it demolished it. And it kind of made it sad because this was a heavy metal staple, like a place known for these parties, and it was part of Pantera's legacy almost, was this house. Almost like the heavy metal Graceland.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, it's not here. It's right up this driveway, and on the back side of those trees right there is where the house once stood.
And you can still see people up there working on it right now. I mean, this is a busy street. It seems like every house on this little street has something going on.
If you look right through there, you see the tan. See the tan right in there. It looks like part of the house right through there. So it looks like it would have been a tall house.
Now in 2004, whenever the tragedy struck with Dime, it was here in this house that Vinnie kind of stepped back from music and away from the drums up until 2005.
What happened in 2005?
He actually went and performed, got back on the drums at a tribute concert for Drowning Pool.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. What band did he form after all that happened? Was it a cool band?
I believe it was a hell yeah. The building in front of you was once called the Clubhouse. Now this was a all-nude gentleman's club that was once owned by Dime and Vinnie. Now it was supposed to be like a golf-themed gentleman's club. Pantera also performed here. And after Dime died, there was a huge memorial here for him. Now, one funny story whenever I was like looking into the building and like any kind of history related to it, a funny story came from Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters. Now, they were invited to perform at Ozfest. Now, Ozfest is this huge metal show, right? All these metal bands. So Foo Fighters really doesn't fit the bill, but they were up for the challenge. They were actually taking the place of Korn because Korn had to bow out of the show. And they get there and they're like, you're gonna go on after Pantera. Come on now.
Like, say what?
And it was reported that Dave Grohl said Pantera tore the stage down. They blew it out. But he was like, luckily we were able to make it through our performance without getting a bottle thrown on us or getting booed off the stage.
I mean, I know Foo Fighters were coming up big back then, but you gotta wonder why, with it being Ozfest, they didn't just put them in Pantera's spot and move Pantera to the closing act.
Right.
That would have made more sense, but oh well.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Dave Grohl meets Dime and Vinnie. They give him a card. They invite him to the infamous Clubhouse. Like, hey, come hang out with us at the club, you know, the Clubhouse. And he reported, you know, like that getting to meet them, it just felt like family. They were the most down-to-earth band you could ever meet. Well, him and Taylor Hawkins start this cross-country trip, right? And he's going to take advantage of the invite he gets to this club. But along the way, he loses his license and the golden ticket. Now, if anybody's ever seen the movie The Night Before, where he's like, wants that golden ticket to this infamous New Year's party so bad, that's what I'm picturing right now, is that card being that golden ticket for Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Well, he loses it along the way. Well, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about turning around. We're gonna forge on with this trip. So they get here, they turn him away. You don't have your ID, you don't have the card, so you're not getting in.
And to turn away Dave Grohl
Yeah.
and Taylor Hawkins, like,
Who are you? Bye.
like, yeah, that's, I mean,
Excuse me,
okay.
do you know where you're at? This is Vinnie and Dime's place. Bye-bye.
I mean, you still would think they would have let them in just because
Yeah.
it was Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins, but
Anyway, years pass. Some lady finds the wallet and actually ends up returning it to Dave Grohl with his ID and the card still in the wallet. But by this time, both of the brothers were gone.
Except for the stage. The way we see it, we'll need to change the stage and then the rock band.
Oh yeah, I got the stripper poles on each side. And we got the little dance cages. So where you guys gonna put the VIP section at?
That's gonna be cowboys over there, right here.
Ah, okay.
This is a see-through window. Celebrities can be here.
Yeah.
We actually did through a concert.
I'm not really sure if you guys heard a lot of what was going on in the clubhouse because there was a lot of construction work going on. But it was cool. It was cool we got to see up inside of it.
That was awesome, man. I mean, even though they're doing construction on it and some of the walls are being replaced and the ceiling and the air conditioning and everything, it's still just to get to walk in there knowing that that's a piece of rock history, metal history, and it was owned by Dimebag and Vinnie Paul. Like, that's amazing. I mean, how many times you get to go in there and something like that and you know, experience that. I mean, it would have been great to get to go in there when they were alive and owned it, but
I mean, we took what we can get.
Yeah, but still, that was awesome.
And he said that was the original stage. They were keeping that.
And the original, I don't know what they're called, but like the catwalk stripper looking, the half cages that were up, those were original too. They were keeping those. They had just lowered them a little bit and we're going to build a catwalk, I guess, back to the upper deck.
Cool.
That way you can walk back and forth and everything. So.
And he did say they were going to create a VIP section.
Called the Clubhouse.
And it was pretty much going to be dedicated to Pantera.
Yeah. That's going to be awesome. They're expected to open back up sometimes August of this year, so fingers crossed maybe we'll get to hit that up and check it out once they get through.
Yeah, and he said they had to talk, I'm assuming Rita.
Yeah, it would. I would guess it would have to be because I don't think Vinnie Paul was married.
Yeah, because he said the wife, but
yeah.
I know him and her were not married. They were just kind of like high school sweethearts.
Yeah, but she was left everything.
Yeah,
by
so I'm
Dimebag,
assuming Rita. But he said it took 4 years of convincing her, and they still kind of communicate with her.
Yeah,
like, this is what we're doing. You know, kind of like, is this okay?
Yeah, because the way he was acting was like she didn't want to let go of it, I guess, not because of selfish reason, like, oh, you ain't getting this, but more of like kind of reluctant. It was a piece of Dimebag and Vinnie and history, but also I think she was just kind of, maybe the way he was acting was kind of reluctant to let it go because of like somebody just tearing it down or, you know, turning it into something that it shouldn't be, like an auto body shop or, you know, whatever that would be far off of, you know, what it originally was, especially since somebody has already demolished freaking Vinnie Paul's house. Like, what a moron. I'm just gonna call that like it is. That idiocracy. Like, if you didn't want to live there, cool, but you could have like opened it up and done tours and stuff, you know, for people and got you something else.
Yeah.
I mean, because obviously somebody wanted that house bad if it didn't spend that long on the market. I'm sorry. You knew what you were buying and you demolished it anyway. Stupid. So Pantera would go on to greatness. They would go from recording albums in their dad's studio to getting picked up by a major record label and becoming a worldwide phenomenon with a heavy metal following. But like all great things, eventually, I guess, they have to come to an end. For one reason or another, we're not going to go into details on that, but Pantera splits up. Now, Dimebag and Vinnie Paul, they're not done with music by a long shot, right?
At this point, I think it's in their blood.
Yeah, I'd say that's safe to say.
Professional musicians, I like to think you're born to do that. It is in your blood.
Right. So they go on to form another band in 2003 called Damage Plan. Now, they would only release one album called Newfound Power. And they would only be around for roughly a year. December 8th, 2004 is when a deranged fan in Columbus, Ohio, where Damage Plan was performing, comes in, kills Dimebag. We'll get into that later. So Vinnie Paul, at this point, his younger brother's died. He has to take a break. I mean, can you really blame him? I mean, I would have to take a break myself. But Vinnie Paul, being Vinnie, and being an abbot, and being a heavy metal drummer, the man that he was, it's in his blood, like Renee says, so you got to get back on the horse. And then goes on to form I don't even know how you would say it, a heavy metal god-like ensemble, so to speak. And they called themselves Hell Yeah. And he would stay in this band 12 years until his passing in 2018.
Here at the Arlington Convention Center, located at 1200 Ballpark Way, after Dimebag was shot for no reason, they held a public memorial here in this building as a way for musicians and fans and family to pay tribute to him. Some of the guitarists that were here was Zakk Wylde and Eddie Van Halen. And it said that there were over 5,000 people showed up.
Good grief.
So yeah, Dimebag Darrell, I mean, it's clear he was very, very loved in the music world. And it's sad, like, whenever people that are musicians are taken that way, you know, because music touches a lot in people. It makes people feel feelings. And when your favorite artist gets murdered like that, I mean, it crushes you.
Crowded into the Arlington Convention Center's main ballroom as some of the most famous faces of rock took the stage, sharing their personal times with their music and party buddy, the man they called Dime. Images of Abbott manning his guitar and slinging his famous long hair rolled across big screens set up around the ballroom, setting the mood that was part memorial service, part rock concert. Performers played next to a life-size cutout of Dimebag Darrell with his guitar, and fellow guitarist Eddie Van Halen was among those speaking to the crowd, sharing a voicemail from Dimebag he had saved on his cell phone.
Guy was the epitome, live, breathe, and is rock and roll. I will forever, I'm gonna make a CD of this and forever hold it with me. Yeah.
On December 8th, 2004, Damage Plan was on tour. They were 2 shows away from the end of the tour. That particular night, they were playing in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm sure it was probably like a night just like the rest. Like, they weren't expecting anything bad to happen. But that would not be the case that night. A 25-year-old former Marine by the name of Nathan Gale would come into the building they were performing at. He was armed with a gun, and he charged the stage and shot Dimebag Darrell in the back of the head several times. Now, he wasn't the only fatality during this shooting. There were a couple of other people that were shot and killed. I think it was three other people that were shot.
Gunman's name, we have identified him as Nathan Gale. He's a male white, 25 years old, last known address, I believe, in the Marysville area. Darrell Abbott was a member of the band. He was 39 years old. He's one of the ones that was a victim of the gunman. Second victim, Nathan Bray, B-R-A-Y, male white, 23 years old. We believe he was a fan enjoying the concert. I have Aaron Halk, E-R-I-N-H-A-L-K, male white, 29 years old. Unknown if he was a fan or a member of the band.
Nathan Gale suffered from paranoid schizophrenia. He thought that Pantera was stealing his identity. He thought they were stealing his thoughts. He told his mother that he thought they were stealing lyrics that he had written. He also blamed Dime for Pantera parting ways. So he held a lot of resentment against Dimebag Darrell. But Nathan Gale, after all of this shooting occurred, he himself was shot and killed.
By a police officer. Can't remember if the police officer was on duty or off duty.
Now, they did attempt to do CPR on Dime, like on the stage, but he was pretty much killed instantly. I mean, you're shot in the back of the head 5 times.
Yeah, it's very, very slim chance you're going to survive that.
Now, the mother admitted to buying the gun for Nathan Gale, but supposedly this was prior to like her knowing of his like mental illness. So, and I think I read in an article that she did actually reach out to Vinnie Paul, but I don't think he had anything like to say, to her.
Yeah. Which is understandable. I mean, dude just came in and killed your brothers.
Now, the last words that Dimebag said to Vinnie was Van Halen, and which kind of was like their code word for
let loose.
Yeah, like have a good time.
Hang out. Yeah.
Which was kind of the story of their life. Almost.
I mean, because they were big Van Halen fans too.
Yeah.
Last December, heavy metal band Damage Plan took the stage at the El Rosa Villa. During their first set, more than 200 anxious fans packed the concert hall to hear the group and one of the country's most known guitarists, Dimebag Darrell Abbott, play. But just a few minutes into their first song, trouble broke out. You can see shooter Nathan Gale in a black jacket and baseball cap charging on a stage and pulling out a gun. He was headed straight for Dimebag Darrell, the band's lead guitarist. The crowd, shocked, unbelievably didn't move. Someone on stage cried for help.
Call 911, somebody!
While Dimebag Darrell lays on stage with band members, even fans trying to resuscitate him, there's chaos. Police say minutes after Gale shot Dimebag, he takes a hostage and reloads his gun behind a speaker. In a matter of 5 minutes, Gale fired 15 shots before Officer James Niggemeyer took him down with one single shot. A single shot that saved lives. Moments later, Officer Niggemeyer steps in front of the camera, shotgun in hand, a blank look on his face.
So we've made it to our final stop, and it's to visit and pay respects to the 2 stars of this video, Vinnie Paul and Dimebag Darrell. Vinnie passed away June 22nd, 2018 in his Las Vegas home. Now, cause of death for him was a dilated cardiomyopathy, which is an enlarged heart, and coronary artery disease.
Dimebag was a big Eddie Van Halen fan. And he fell in love with the black and yellow guitar of Eddie Van Halen that was seen on the back of Van Halen 2 album. And he loved, that was his all-time favorite guitar, and he loved it so much that Eddie Van Halen was actually going to have one made for Dimebag. But tragically, that would never happen due to the passing of Dimebag Darrell. So what Eddie Van Halen did was put that beloved Bumblebee guitar in Dimebag Darrell's casket. Eddie said Dimebag was an original, and an original deserved an original guitar like the Bumblebee, and thus he placed it in Dimebag's casket for him to be with for all eternity, so to speak, to play that great gig in the sky. Now, both of the brothers, being huge Kiss fans, were both buried in custom-made Kiss caskets. Dimebag being first because he died in 2004, and then Vinnie Paul in 2018. But both were actually supplied the caskets from Kiss members themselves. So that puts a pretty cool twist on it.
There's pictures of the casket, and it was sweet looking.
Well, I mean, that's pretty sweet. Like, you don't have to worry about getting one made by just some random casket maker. That it was actually supplied by the members of Kiss themselves. So you know that thing was done right in both instances.
But not only the guitar, like their caskets was loaded down with alcohol too.
Of course. So if you see the little headstone over here, that is actually their mother, Carolyn Abbott, who is buried in here with them. And she passed away September 12th of 1999. So one cool thing, and I don't know for certain if they still do it. I know at one time they did do it here at his, and I know especially before Vinnie Paul passed, but when, I believe it was on the anniversary of Dimebag's passing, I don't think it was his birthday. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section. But I believe it was on the anniversary of his death that they actually would play Pantera Cemetery Gates here in the cemetery from Dimebag's final resting spot. So you could drive through here at any point during that day, and they had it on a loop playing Cemetery Gates. Like I said, I don't know for sure if they still do that or not, but I know they did at one time, which would have been pretty cool to come by here and hear that blaring from Dimebag's final resting place. So people do come by and they still leave dimes for Dimebag and guitar picks. They do also leave drumsticks and cymbals and stuff here for Vinnie. You can see that there is an iron gate around it, and if you see, there is a lock right here, so you can't go in. That kind of keeps people from vandalizing.
Because I think they were having people like come spend the night out here when he first died.
Yeah, and you can see, like, because there used to be plexiglass, you can see like the spots where it looks like something used to be over the thing. You can see even circles from where people have left probably beer bottles and cans and stuff over the years when you used to could get in here and actually get close. But yeah, people were coming, like, you know, spending the night here. You know, they would camp out and sleep around the tombstones, especially back before Vinnie Paul died, when it was just Dimebag and his mom here. People were camping out, and you know, which is cool. They weren't really doing anything wrong, but you know, it's always a couple people doing stupid stuff that ruins it for everybody else, and thus became the plexiglass over the tombstones, and then now the locked iron fence and gate. So Vinnie Paul, His says, don't ever think it's not a good time. If you do think it's not a good time is a good time. A bad time is a bad time. And a wonderful time is irreplaceable. Hell yeah. I like how they got the cards and the dice. The Texas 333. He also loved to grill and stuff, so I thought that was pretty cool how they have the spatula and the pitchfork there, you know, for his love of grilling, with the city in the background. And then over here to my right, Dimebag Darrell. He's even got a both of his signature guitars with him in the middle, head banging. Got the razor blade and the chains. And he says, he came to rock and rock like no other, with the heart twice the size of Texas. Our beloved brother, companion, mentor, idol, and friend. We love you, Dime, until we meet again. And then at the bottom's got his signature guitar. Well, that does it here for us at Exit to Adventure. For all things Pantera, Dimebag, Vinnie Paul, heavy metal, and so on and so forth. So shout out to our VIP Road Warrior patron member, the Crip Lady. Thank you for your monthly support and donation. If you would like to help us out in any way, head over to our Patreon and sign up. Different tiers get you different things, and every little bit helps keep us on the road and keep these videos coming. Keep a lookout on us for TikTok and Twitch. We're going live over there a lot, especially doing some horror gaming when we're not on the road, when we are back at home. So everything Exit to Adventure, Twitch, TikTok, everything. So, oh, and a quick plug. If you're into heavy metal, death metal, which you must be, you're watching a video about Pantera, go check out There's Only One Elvis. You can check him out on Spotify, Apple Music, all things that. Solo artist doing great work. Check out There's Only One Elvis. There's Only One Elvis. A little bit of a tongue tie. But go check him out. You won't be disappointed. Heavy metal, check him out. So, until next time, catch you guys down the road at the next exit.
Keep it spooky.
Later.
Shh.